It's about how you can create an idea, create an impressions that you are the first or second brands, you're the first or second names that appear in their mind. Oh well, how good is that if everybody or our audience or the market can remember us, our brand as a person, our products and services. So when everybody talks about specific service that they want, they remember us. So this is what we want to build. This is what we want to build. Some kind of impact we want to build in the market, in the community. That if we are able to make people remember us, to recall our name first time, if certain services or products is needed, then how fantastic, how great would that be? So just for example, let's say if I ask you today, now, let's say which is the first brand of soft drinks that comes into your mind, then you probably will give me either this brand or the other brand. The max is two brands, and in most cases, if we ask about soft drink, there's only one brand that we can always relate to us in our life. So that's how people can easily remember if you are able to build some impact. It's either one or two, the best or the second best. So nobody will actually remember if you're the third best, you are the third largest in the market. So it is rather important that we build an impact in people's mind. It is not about how good you are. Honestly, it is not about being the best or the second best, like I mentioned just now. But it is about how you can create an idea, create an impressions that you are the first or second brands, you're the first or second names that appear in their mind when people ask. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how exactly you can do. And before that, I just want to go into the slides to show you to make it easier for you to understand. So let's go into the slides now. So this is one of the presentations I made, I think about 1 or 2 months ago, to a group of people, a group of business people. This is exactly how I wanted to help them to make impact in the industry, in their markets. So the title I presented was how to make people remember you to get more business. So everyone wants that. Everyone wants to achieve that objective, including myself. How much I wish everybody will remember me when I present my topic, when I present my niche, and when people need that service or products from me, the first person they'll think is me. Then how would that be? So now, if you want people to remember you, there's none other than you have to make sure that you have your own niche, that you are able to find your own niche to cater to the market, to cater to the users that you are aiming for. That means you specialize something, you are into something that is uniquely yours, that is not commonly available, or say. So that means whenever people need certain thing, a specific thing, a more specialized thing, if you are in that industry and you're serving that niche in that category, the chances are you will be the very first or the first two persons to be called out, to be remembered. So I just call you an example. Let's say, I wonder if you have asked any questions. If not, then you can try on internet, in Facebook, that maybe you ask for some recommendation. Say you just put it in your post that can somebody recommend the best vehicles, or the best personal vehicles brand that I want to buy a new car, for example. Then you will see that a lot of people will just put in different names. All right, it can be brand A, brand B, brand C, brand D, and at the end of the day, you notice that when these people put these brands itself, I mean, to you, to recommend to you, that is actually those are the brands that come into their mind, that they think these brands are most suitable for you, for the status, for your affordability, for whatever you need, that fits your requirement. So now they'll put as long as they think that certain brands are fitting into your requirement in terms of budget, in terms of need, in terms of functionality, and so on, that they'll always put the brands in the column, in the comment box, that they will recommend you. So these are the brands that have made some impact in your friend's life on social media, for example. That's why they actually put these certain names to recommend to you. So this is how brand works. This is how the niche will actually kick in into their lives, and that they try to influence you as well. So if you're able to create your own niche, if you're able to discover the niche you serve in your market, that will actually help people to remember you. So wherever other people, wherever their friends are asking for the service that is related to what you are doing, then the chances are they will always remember you as the first or second person, and that's how they'll put your names in their comment box in their friends' questions in Facebook, for example. So now, the definition of niche is very simple. It's actually denoting products or services or interests that appeal to a small specialized sections of the populations, right? This is how it goes for a niche, and this is on this is a definition in which I'm going further to illustrate more examples for you. So now, selling everything is not making you money, honestly. And if you are too general and you can't make money, you're too general, people can't remember you, and you're too general, you can't really stand up from the crowd. Let me quote you examples. Say if you are in food industry, if you are restaurant owners, so who is your target market? Basically, if you're being too general, you would say probably everybody who needs to eat. Well, basically everybody needs to eat. But what if there are people who don't eat beef but you cook beef? But what if some Muslims, they don't consume pork, but you are a non-halal restaurants, and these people would actually be out of from your touch, all right? So they will not be your target market. But what if you specifically just focus into certain types of cuisines, for example, Western food, that you serve fish and chips, and you serve a sirloin steak and chicken chops and so on. So those people who have certain crave for Western food for some time, or maybe weekend during weekend when they want to bring their family over for good dinner, and they want to consume to eat fish and chips, because you are good at fish and chips, and that, because if that is your core and that is your forte in preparing really nice set of fish and chips to your customers, then it becomes a niche. It becomes that when people think about fish and chips, they will always think about your restaurant, and that's where you serve the purpose, that you serve that specialty that you have prepared, you have cooked for them. So that becomes a niche, and people will come and visit your restaurant is basically looking for nothing else but fish and chips. So that's what we are talking about, going for niche. Instead of you have everything in the restaurant, fish and chips, you have Indian food, you have Chinese food, you have Italian cuisine, and so on. And that becomes really a mixture of everything, that nobody will actually remember what is your signature dish, instead of remembering just one thing, fish and chips. All right. So now we want to go into a stage where we want to set us apart from competitions. If we are too general, that will become commodity. So if you look at this picture itself, for example, this is actually taken in a market, I think, in the wet market. So you see, in the wet market, almost everybody is selling similar stuff. Like these are vegetables store owners. Well, you may see he sells lots of things, and well, as I can see, probably like tomatoes, probably like potatoes, chilies, and so on, and lemon and lime and so on. So basically, if you find one store which is selling these types of vegetables, and the chances are you probably will see the other stores are selling similar things. So when almost every store is selling similar stuff like the lime, like lady's finger, like tomatoes, well, these vegetables become commodity. So these vegetables become widely available and very common to anybody. So anybody can get it at similar price. So probably that the store owners will not be able to stand out or differentiate themselves from one another. So because they are selling commodities, the vegetables, which are very similar to each other, there's nothing called price advantage over another. That means the price will be very similar. It's like they are very much near to each other, against each other. So price war will probably begins. But what if one of these store owners, instead of selling everything under the roof, all kind of different vegetables, but he only specialized in one thing? All right, he specialized in probably, for example, corn. All right, so he sell nothing but corn, sweet corns imported from US, for example. Then this is where he is going to have to be able to gain competitive advantage over the rest. That means when he sells nothing but corn, you probably think, well, can he survive? Instead of selling other types of making the varieties bigger, he only sell one thing, corn, and he specializes in corn. Would he be able to survive? And the answer is yes, because whenever people want to buy corn, they remember who is this guy from which store of certain or which wet market that they'll be able to remember and go after him just to buy from him, because he specialized in corn. He sells nothing but corn. So people will only think about corn when people see one needs to consume corn, for example, they will think of him. So that's how he stand up. That's how he built an impression, is that he is a corn guy. Well, not corn, all right? He's a corn seller. He's a corn store owner who specializes nothing but corn itself, the sweet corns imported from US. So anybody who wants corn, all right, will just head over to his store and buy from him. We will just remember him for good, instead of those other store owners who sell almost everything under the sun. All right. So I just want to quote you one fine example how we can go further into more specialties, more niche for our own products. For example, I just quote you photography as one of the fine example. Let's say if I'm a photographer today, if I want to introduce myself, my service, my products to my clients. All right. So I probably would say, if I meet a new person, a new friend, and introduce myself, if this is the way that I introduce myself, that I tell them that I'm a photographer, I do photography. So basically, I'm telling them that I am a commodity. I am very general. All right. I am a photographer, but anyone in the streets can be a photographer as well. The other studio that's at the end of this street is also another photography studio, and the owner is also a photographer. So I am no different from the rest of the photographers. But what if now, instead of I tell people that I am a photographer, I do photography, now I tell them that I offer portrait photography. Well, it is slightly niche, right? I'm screening through, I'm going down a little bit again, but still general, because at least people would know that I'm a portrait photographer. I do portrait photography. I do nothing but portrait. But what kind of portrait are we talking about? It can be personal portrait, it can be senior portrait, it can be pets portraits, and so on. So at least, or if compared as the broad descriptions that I do photography, now I'm still back. I'm in a better position that at least people can understand that, okay, I'm doing portraits, but what kind of portrait, nobody know. So after having me to introduce myself as a portrait photographer, for example, that I want to go slightly more niche now. All right, instead of just telling people that I'm portrait photographer, I'll tell them that, okay, out of so many types of portraits, I specialize in family portraits. And now people will start to understand that, okay, this guy specializes in family portraits, and whenever I need family portraits, I will look for him. So instead of going for a portrait photographer who probably will do, who probably is good at personal portraits, probably good at corporate portrait and so on. But I know that this guy is pretty good, pretty reputable in family portrait that I can always refer to. So now I have a niche now. My niche is family portraits. But what if I go into sub-niche, right? A niche of the niches, all right? That will be able to help me to differentiate myself further in portrait photography, in family portrait photography. And now, next, what I'll tell them is I specialize in big family portraits. So, of course, now, a lot of people will have this problem probably when they come to a big family portraits with 20, 30 people. They probably have this headache. Not everybody, not all family portrait photographers will be able to handle so many people, especially when they are kids. But what if I will be able to tell them that I do a lot of big family portraits, and that's my forte. That's what I specialize in. Guess what? People would whoever think about big family portraits, at least anything from 8% to 10 or even more, that they'll be able to think of me. Then that is where I will be able to stand out among all the photographers, among all the portrait photographers, that I'll be able to tell them that I myself, I differentiate myself as a big family portrait photographers, and that's where I specialize in. So whenever people need big family portraits, or whenever their friends are looking for big family portrait photographers, the chances are they will always remember me, because I have built such an impact in their mind, in their brand, that they'll be able to remember me as the big family portrait specialist. So I hope this simple video will be able to help everybody understand why niche is so important, why sub-niche is even better when we are able to discover what we are good at. So I hope this video is helpful, and if you think this is helpful, perhaps you can share with some of your friends and let them know that whatever business they are in, they need to find what is their niche, what their specialty, and if they could, go into sub-niches as well. Till then, I catch up with you, but don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'll come back here more often for more videos to help everybody to achieve same objective that is in our business, to expand it, to make it even more impactful to the community. Till then, I catch up with you. This is Shan here. Bye bye.